Venkatachalam.
Namaste.
Welcome to Prana Stories.
Namaste.
You are various things to me. Hema Venkatachalam sounds very formal. You are my Chitti. Chitti for the audience is mother's sister. So you are my partner's mother's sister, so you become my mother's sister too. So welcome to Prana Stories once again.
Thank you.
And you are also, for people who haven't watched your documentary on Prana Stories, they should definitely go watch a documentary called as Radhe Radhe, which I had done very much initially, maybe one and a half year back, showing her love for Krishna. People who haven't watched it, who are new here, should definitely go and watch it.
I enjoyed shooting that.
Yeah, you should definitely go watch it. The other aspect of you is you are my guru, you are my acharya, from whom I am learning the Lalita Sahasranamam. So I thought we should do a podcast on this because I am learning the Lalita Sahasranamam from her, and I am sure there are very rare people out here who can teach you Lalita Sahasranamam in depth as she teaches. And that's why I thought we should do a podcast, based on Ma Lalita herself. The way she teaches is like you go into the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis into so much depth. It's like amazing how such thought was there in our ancient Bharat, right? It is unbelievable that so many things have been thought of already. Let's talk a little fundamentals of Lalita Sahasranama. I'm sure there are so many videos on that, but let's do it like this is authentic information that we are trying to put out. What is the origin of Lalita Sahasranama?
So before we could start, I would just like to invoke Ganapati, Guru and Mata. And also would like to tell that I am too small to talk about Lalita. And there are a lot of interpretations. There are great souls who have interpreted Lalita Sahasranam. And whatever has come to, whatever I have gained out of whatever readings I have done, that is what I am sharing, which I feel that is a very small contribution. So if you dig deeper into Lalita Sahasranama, there is so much more to get out of that. So Shri Mahaganapati Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Guru Charana Ravindabhyam Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. So the origin of Lalita Sahasranama is this is from the part of the Brahmanda Purana. And Lalita Mahatripura Sundari is the superior divine feminine energy. And how she comes into existence is, we all know about the story of Daksha Yajna, and how Daksha does not respect his son-in-law, who is the Lord Shiva himself, and Gauri comes and for the yajna without being invited to her father's yajna, and then where she finds that her father is not respecting his son-in-law, and so because she being his daughter, she wanted to give away that body, so she jumps into fire, and that's how she leaves the body. So that's when Shiva comes to the yajna, and we know that story. And Gauri and Shiva at that point in time, both of them are separated. They are Gauri is born as Himavan's daughter, as Parvati, and she is in penance to attain Shiva, and Lord Shiva is in penance in the Neelanchal Parvat, again wanting to join with Parvati. So when this is happening, there is nobody in the Devaloka where to safeguard the Devaloka. So that's when all the asuric energies are, are trying to take power, and then all the devas are being troubled, and all of that happens. And that's when all the devas, they want Shiva and Parvati to, Shiva and Shakti to join together, so that, there is peace out there in the Devaloka. So they send Manmata, or the Lord of Love, the Kamadeva, and then he goes and he he throws an arrow on Shiva, who is meditating. So at that point in time, Manmata, he actually refuses, but then he goes there, he says, okay, everybody's come to me, let me help them out. And he goes and he throws the arrow, and before even the arrow touches Shiva, Shiva opens his third eye, and Manmata goes into, becomes ashes. He is burnt to ashes there. So Manmata loses his body there, and from the ashes there is Chitrasena, who makes that into a form, the ashes into a form of a body. And Shiva looks at that body and at the ashes, and then that gains into life, and that being that came into life starts acting very funny. It starts jumping around, and it starts showing all asuric gunas and all. That's when Brahma calls it Band. So that's how it is called. The being that came into life is called as Bandasura. So from the ashes of a deva comes the asura, who is Bandasura. And the Shukracharya, who is the guru of the devas, this Bandasura accepts him as the guru, and he is advised that he does the Shatarudriyam, and then he pleases Shiva. So he listens to the guru, does a lot of Rudra Upasana, he does Shatarudriyam and all that, and then he gains a lot of powers. So, and with those powers, he goes around troubling all the devas around. So, for over 60,000 years, the devas are in trouble. So, that's when they approach Brahma, they approach Vishnu. Then, nowhere they get any, any response for this, or relief for this whole trouble. So Vishnu tells them that I can send a temporary relief, but for a permanent solution, you will have to go to Shambho. So then, as a temporary relief, he sends some beautiful damsels, and the asuras are distracted by that, and then all the devas go to Shambhu, and Shambhu says that you have to do a yajna. Where you will not use any dravyas or anything. You will use your own body parts, and you offer that to the yajna, and you call upon the Devi, who will come and who will give you a permanent solution. That's how they all do this Mahayajna, and they actually they put their hands, their fingers, their one by one their body parts they put into the fire. And from that Agni comes Devi Lalita. So the entire Lalita Sahasranama talks about how she appears, and then
so from the Chitagni, from the fire.
From the Chitagni, we call it as Chitagni. From that Yajna fire she comes. It is called Chitagni. You can also say that when Tatvik artha or meaning for this is when we get too attached to this bhog and this this all this material worldly things, and we forget the divine. So all our asura gunas are actually out and then we slowly weaken. When the divine is not active in us, or we are not turning to the divine, what happens is we get a little weak. So that's when, but during that weakness is when we have an opportunity to regain power, which we actually do not realize.
Yeah.
That's when the Deva Gunas in us, every person has got Deva Gunas as well as Asuric Gunas. So the Deva Gunas in us apparently go to Shakti, like how these people went to Shambhu and asked.
Shambho is a form of Shiva, right?
Shambhu is a form of Shiva, who is beyond, like how Lalita Tripura Sundari is the supermost feminine energy. Shambhu is the supermost potential energy or the masculine energy.
Okay.
So, that is what Shambhu is. So that is when we are our Asuric gunas are coming out like this. All the Deva gunas approach the divine and ask for help. Why don't you come and safeguard or give some relief, drive some sense. So that is
a divine feminine form came out of this Chitagni.
Chitagni. So Chitagni is where does the Chitagni in a human body? It is there in the human body.
Yeah.
It is there as a latent power.
Yeah.
So that has to be made potent.
Correct.
That is an opportunity we get when we become big.
Right. So all our Puranic stories have the symbolism that is there, and it ultimately leads to the same thing, that you realize yourself. That is why these stories or history is taught to us, that this is how things happened, and finally it has to work on your self-development.
It's all for Atma realization.
Correct. Yeah. Again, what I would like to say to the audience is that the Puranas were an after effect of the Vedas, which were very difficult for common people to understand. Then came the Ramayana, then came the Mahabharata, and then the Puranas were also came out after that, so that these come in the form of stories, right? So that it is very easy, palatable to a common man, and they can understand certain things, and it will stay in your mind. It will stick to your mind. That's the beauty of it.
So it's like we are like children. We learn visually, we learn with pictures. So we learn with stories. That is why all the stories have come.
Correct. Because in the Vedas, a lot of things start with the formless or abstract things like nature is God and stuff like that. It's very, for a common person, it's very difficult to even
fathom nature as
divine, right? So that's why they gave it a form, and then a lot of things, a lot of gods emerged out of that, and they all represent something, right? That's why all these things came out. So Lalita is like a super divine feminine that came out of Lalita came out of this, right?
Yes.
So then after that, what happened? So where did this Sahasranama thing that we are speaking, when did that happen? So when she came, I'm sure she came to destroy the evil called as Bandasura, right?
Yes.
And so did that happen immediately, or how did it?
No, it didn't happen immediately. Actually, Lalita Sahasranama, if you see, all gods have Sahasranama.
Okay.
So that is, they are praised with 1,000 names. Now, out of all those Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama and Ganesha Sahasranama is
popular.
Is most popular. Now with Vishnu Sahasranama, if you see Lalita Sahasranama was written by Vagdevis themselves.
Okay.
So Lalita told the Vagdevis that you bring out the Sahasranama so that let the mankind, the society be benefited out of this.
Okay, so you'll have to explain who are the Vagdevis.
Vagdevis are the yoginis of Lalita, who are the different energies of Ma Saraswati herself.
Okay, Vagdevis, Vak is speech.
Speech, yes.
Yeah.
So they are supposed to have designed the whole Sahasranama.
Okay.
So Vagdevis, when they design something, cannot be any error at all. If you see Lalita Sahasranama, each nama has so many meanings.
Yeah.
and each nama is different from the other. There is though they made some namas look similar, but if you dig deeper inside, the meanings are so different.
Yeah.
And there are no conjunctions like cha, api,
Yeah.
tu and all that, like how
Yeah.
in Vishnu Sahasranama also we say Putatma, Paramatma, cha. So all that cha, those conjunctions are not used at all in Lalita Sahasranama.
Yeah. So how many Vagdevis?
These are 8 Vagdevis.
8 Vagdevis. So they composed this.
They composed this.
But the question arises, I mean, there is a, when Sanskrit is used, when Sahasra is used, people associate that with a number called 1000. So is that correct, or is it really 1000 names, or is it like Sahasra meaning?
Sahasra means actually Sahasra also means 1000. Also, like in a colloquial language, when we say between us there are 1000. So it's not actually 1000, many things.
Yeah.
More than 1000.
Okay.
So if you see, there are like 1008 names here. And here the Vagdevis, when I said Vagdevis, I'd like to give their names. So it is Vasini, Kameshwari, Aruna, Vimala, Jaini, Modini, Sarveshwari and Kaulini. These are the Vagdevis who wrote Lalita Sahasranama. And all of these Vagdevis are forms or energies of Ma Saraswati.
Okay.
If you go to see, Ma Saraswati is also an energy from Lalita.
Yeah.
So it is given by the goddess herself, I would say. And the Sahasranama is the goddess herself. So it's like how when we say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, the Nama is not different from Krishna himself. Like that, Lalita Sahasranama is not different from Lalita herself. So the entire Lalita Sahasranama is the Divine Mother. So that is the reverence we have to give to Lalita Sahasranama when we chant with that bhavam. And each name, if we know the in-depth meaning of the name, when we are chanting, all those meanings will come, and that reverence or that bhavam will come. So that is why it is important to understand the meaning.
Correct.
And chant the Sahasranama.
Correct. And I was learning as I am learning, even though it's a work in progress. I have reached probably 100 names we have reached.
Yeah, around
100 names, around 100 names. So I'm realizing that it is also structured very well.
Yes.
Right? There are these sections which are there. Okay, this section is this section is this section. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, it is actually, when you go deeper into Lalita Sahasranama, you get goosebumps when you see the way the whole thing is in layers. The Devi, the Divine Mother, is coming out in layers.
Yeah.
Like it is from Dvaitam to Advaitam.
That is from duality
to non-duality.
Yeah. That is saying, again, I just want to explain that in duality you say that, okay, there is me and there is some other force which is there bigger than me, which is duality. And Advaita is non-duality, which is like, I am everything.
Aham Brahmasmi.
That's the Mahavakya is one of the from one of the Upanishads.
Yes.
That is again another topic, but
that's a huge topic.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying the sections are divided in such a way that you go from Dvaita to Advaita.
So it is the arrangements of the Devi herself in layers, like of her in the subtler and subtlest form. So it, like if you see it, there are some 24 to 30 adhikarams or sections of Lalita Sahasranama.
24 to 30.
24 to 30 if you see. In that, the names, first 5 names talk about who Lalita is. Shri Mata and Shri Maharagni. So Shri Mata, the mother of the universe. Shri Maharagni is the queen of queens, the empress. And Srimat Simhasaneshwari, she is seated on a throne which is special to her. So like that, the first three names or the five names talk about her, who she is.
Yeah.
And then from the fifth name to the 11 names, it talks about how she is, about her weapons, what all she, how many hands she has got, and
Basically describing her
what her
iconography.
physical form, like
Yeah.
how we see in pictures,
Yeah.
how we see in. So, and Nama 12 to 51 is all about her physique. I mean, her, it starts, she emerges from the Chitagni. So it is explained as how the devas see her. First her head is seen, then her forehead, then her eyebrows, then her eyes, then her nose, ears, like that. From the head to toe, it is very beautifully explained. Each nama talks about, is very beautifully explained of her majestic beauty, how she comes out like 1,000 rising suns.
Yeah.
So it talks about the entire 51 names, from say 6 to 51 is or 11 to 51 is completely about her physical form, like how we look at see her in idols, in temples, in pictures.
Yeah.
So that is duality, that's idol worship.
Correct.
We keep her above us as God, and we are praying to her.
Correct.
Then slowly when we come 12 to 64 talks about where she is seated. So Kameshwarankastha, she is seated on the left lap of Kameshwara, who is Lord Shiva or Sadashiva, the supreme potential energy or the masculine energy. And then Sudha Sagara Madhyastha, she is in the midst of the nectar, ocean of nectar. So her established positions, it talks about her established. Then 65 talks about the preparation of Bandasura Vadam. So it's like it, as soon as she appears, it's not that, she starts the Vadam. It's describing her.
Yeah.
Then it's describing prep, where all she is present, what are her established positions, then about her Shakti Sena, and then 66, 67 talks about the warrior goddesses, who are her main Shakti Senas and from where they come from. So each of these Shakti goddesses come from her weapons. So we have Sampatkari, Ashwaruda, we have Mantrini, Varahi, who are the chief people in her Shakti Sena. And then 68 and 70 talks about these warrior goddesses and their powers. And then 71 to 84 is the entire Bandasura Vadam itself, how it took place, and who all were there in Bandasura's party, who were the asuras, and how did the Vadam actually happen. And then 85 to 89 now slowly talks about a Sukshma Swarupam. From duality, we are seeing her within us, how her subtler form starts. And then the Kundalini Swarupam, which is within the human body. So like that, her layers by layers. And then finally when you come, then it talks about her Nirguna Swarupam, then her Saguna Swarupam, how she is formless and then she takes form for the benefit of mankind. To different avatars she takes for the benefit of mankind, to safeguard society. How she takes different forms. Then we have Vanadhikaram talks about her greatness, her grace. And then there is one which talks about what work she does. So as Kundalini, what is it that she does? So, and then her incredible powers. There is one Adhikaram which talks about that. Then there is one which talks about how to worship her. Then towards the end, it says that, what is it that she gets pleased with? I mean, how she is, she gets, with dedicated devotion and bhakti, she actually, you can tie her up, or she is ready to give everything, including the Sayujya Moksham, or the liberation. So one keeps chanting her names continuously, one starts looking like her. Sayujya, I mean, the Rupam also becomes similar. So it's like she can give anything. So if you see in Shaivism, or when we pray after death, I mean, I should get a death like this, or after death I should get, I should rest in peace and stuff like that. But when we talk about Lalita Mahatripura Sundari, while we are living in the material world, how we can be peaceful with all the material pleasures, and how we can still stay liberated, is what the entire Lalita Sahasranama teaches us.
We'll have a balanced
Life, how we can in the material world, how we can still be liberated, how we can still remember her, how we can still be happy.
So that's the magic of Sri Vidya,
Yes.
right? Sri Vidya tells you that
Yes.
that you can be.
So the entire Sri Vidya is all there in Lalita Sahasranama, and it's like, how it is. It's like ghee is there in milk, but when you boil milk, you don't know that ghee is there. When you curdle it, and then when you take butter, and that's when the ghee comes out. So you have to work on it for her to come out from within you.
Right.
So that is how she is.
So let's focus on maybe the first section, or Adhikara, where you said that it is okay. Now, if I understand it, it's like somebody coming and introducing herself. Hey, this is me. This is who I am. And then it's saying, okay, this is my appearance. This is how I am. It's like that, right? I mean, it's like a progressive disclosure of things.
Yes.
So, in the first from 12 to 51, right? It's about her beauty.
Beauty, yes.
Right? It's about her physical appearance. So that people kind of integrate that the concept of beauty is also there in this, because there is also this one podcast that I did, that there is this concept of rasananda, which is aesthetics, that you have good aesthetics so that you start feeling that, and then you find a rasananda out of that, because rasananda is close to brahmananda. First you start from there, which is the form, and then you move into the formless. So it is like that. So Rasananda is called as the brother of Brahmananda. So that's what there is a podcast on that, so maybe people can go check that. So the aesthetic theory is also very important in our culture.
Yes.
So first you bring in that beauty. Why we do all these rituals, in a beautiful manner. We arrange things in a beautiful way so that it is pleasing to the eye. So I think that's where the intent is, that you first explain her physical beauty as well.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, maybe we'll take 2 or 3 names that maybe it's your favorite, and explain what does it actually mean.
Now, if you say some names that I like, I would say Ratna Graiveya Chinta Kalola Mukta Phalanvita.
This is one name.
One name.
Wow. Can you repeat that again? Ratna
Graiveya Chinta Kalola Mukta Phalanvita.
Okay, what does that mean?
So she whose neck is represented with a necklace, which is which has a studded. It's a studded necklace, and there is a locket with rubies, and there are pearls which are shaking.
Okay.
So Ratna Graiveya, it's made out of ratnas. Chinta Kalola Mukta Phalanvita. So it says that the internal meaning of this whole thing, if you see the straight meaning, she is wearing a necklace which is studded with ratnas, or the diamonds, or the precious stones, and there is a locket, and there are pearls around the locket, and she's got a diamond locket. So that is the straight meaning. If you take the internal meaning of this, Ratna Graiveya Chinta Kalola Mukta Phalanvita. So there are 3 types of devotees, or people, bhaktas you can say. So there are bhaktas who chant the name. It comes only up to the throat. I mean, they don't deeply involve in what they are saying, or they don't understand the meaning. So it's only up to the throat. So they are chanting. And Chinta Kalola. So Lola means something which shakes. So Lola, that pearls which are shaking.
Okay.
Lola also means there are people who, while thinking of the divine or while chanting, they get distracted. Lola means they'll go all over the place.
The mind wanders.
The mind wanders. They are not concentrating on what they are doing. So, Chinta Kalola, Mukta Phalanvita. So there is one set of devotees or bhaktas who chant with that intense bhakti or devotion, who understand the meaning, who with that bhavam, with the idea of becoming one with the Devi, they chant Mukta Phalanvita. So they want that liberation, or they want what is it that they desire. So they understand what they are into, they concentrate, then they, with that intensity, with that bhavam, they meditate upon the Lalita Devi. So for each of these section of devotees, Mukta Phalanvita, whatever they deserve for the work they have done, she gives.
Okay.
She gives the phala. Anvita means whatever they deserve for the meditation that they have done. So people who chant up to the lip level, they get
what they deserve
for whatever work they have done. So people who are distracted all over the place when they also get some grace. And people who are intensely devoted, in depth, they understand her, they want to be with her, they want to keep knowing her more and more, she shows up more and more.
Wow, the different levels, 0, 1, 2, 3 kinds. Wow. So nobody goes empty-handed.
Nobody goes empty-handed.
So she takes care, okay, you are at this level, you get this kind of a arrangement.
So she comes as, there is a nama which says Guru, she comes as Guru also. So people who are in that 1 and 2, 0 and all that, she holds their hand and moves them up. So as you chant, slowly you start developing interest to know. So maybe for some time you will be just chanting. And then she instills that desire to know. So she is actually holding our hand when we start chanting itself, that she slowly brings us up in the staircase of spirituality. So if we are on the first step, slowly she holds our hand, second, third, fourth. So we slowly move up to that level of in-depth study about her.
Yeah, but we have to, the sadhaka has to put their effort.
Yes, the intent should be there.
Intent and the consistency should be there.
So the moment we go to her, like how she comes out of the Chitagni, and she is there to, the moment she comes out of the Chitagni, it says that the devas who actually put all their physical parts, fingers, hands, legs, and all that into the Agni, they were, as soon as she comes out, she blesses them with so much grace that all of them regain their physique much more than what they were before they started the yajnam. So that much of vitality, that much of tejas, that much of power, they came back. So the effort one step that they put forward, asking her for help, she actually comes and graces. So the effort should be there from our side. The moment you go, she is there inside us. Yes, the moment we realize that she is there and we put that effort to unravel the mystery of where she is, how to know more about her, she is there to give us everything.
Wow, this name has got so much.
Yes. Wow. There is much more to this name, but I think whatever I could fathom in my little brain, I have.
Any other name?
So then there is this Marali Mandagamana Mahalavanya Shevatihi. Marali Mandagamana Mahalavanya Shevatihi. So it says that Marali Mandagamana, it says the way she comes out of the Chitagni and she walks like a swan. the swan's movement or the gait of the swan is supposed to be the most beautiful one. So even the swans are feeling shy. They're looking at her gait and they're saying, I mean, she's walking so beautifully.
Yeah.
And they feel shy. And they learn one or two moments from the way
her.
she is walking.
Yeah.
So, and her Mahalavanya Shevadihi. So it is so beautiful that these swans are hiding. They are not walking, and they're trying to learn. Okay, this way I can walk, that way I can walk. Such a beautiful way to put that nama.
Yeah.
And then there is one which says that, Nagati Titi Sanjanna Namajanna Tamoguna. So the nails of her feet are, her feet is supposed to be, everybody is supposed to be falling at her feet. Like, even the Trinity is at her feet. The Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara all are falling at her feet, paying obeisances to her with their crowns. So the rubies and the diamonds on their crowns are actually that glowing, and her nails are showing like as if it's as if somebody is showing karpura arati to her feet.
Whoa.
That is the glow that is coming out of
that.
their crowns, of the diamonds and rubies from their crown. It's like somebody showing karpura arati. And their crowns are actually sharpening her, filing her nails and sharpening her nails.
So much detail.
Yes. And there is one nama which says Guda Gulfa Kurma Prishtu Jaishnu Prabhadanvita. So it's like Gulfa is the calf muscle. So it's like the quiver of Manmata. Her from her calf muscle to her ankle, it's like a quiver. And her nails are, when you put the arrow inside the quiver, the sharper portion is actually her nails.
Wow.
So that is how is the explanation that, or the names are perceived like that.
Wow. I don't know how much depth, how can people at that point in time, maybe we could, if you just, anyways, our history cannot be put in a very linear fashion, but even if you want to put it in a linear fashion, let's say it's like 5,000 to 7,000 years ago, that such thoughts were there. And to make us understand what we need to do to work on ourselves and to realize certain things to have a better life. This was all that is.
Yes,
that was
yes.
it. Right, and they explained it in so many different ways.
It's all there. We have not.
We just have to discover.
Yes.
And there are so many scriptures, so many namas, so many things that, the thought was already there, and that too it was like, today we have so many gender issues that we have, and it was a woman who came out with all her powers. And she is described with so much of beauty, and she is the one who is killing this asura who is there.
Actually, if you see, there is the divine doesn't have a gender. There is no form.
Right.
Now, if you see, if you understand the whole thing properly, Lalita Sahasranamam talks about the divine feminine energy, which is supermost. There is one nama which says Karanguli Nakotpanna Narayana Dashakritihi. So the entire Dashavatara of Narayana, she brought out from her nails.
Yeah.
From her fingernails, from her 10 fingernails.
Wow, that is like, what kind of a power is that?
So it is. If you go to see that, everything is Devi.
Can't even imagine.
Everything is her.
Yeah. So we will talk about more sections. So we will stop it here with this section of her describing her physical beauty. This itself is a lot. But I think I want to talk even about the army and the preparation for the war, and that will be a very interesting episode. So let's move on to the next segment of it. So we'll end this one here.
Okay.
So thank you so much.
Sri Matre Namaha.
Sri Matre Namaha.
It has been a privilege to be with you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.